the little bit that you saw of him yesterday and generally, how does he look? Is he moving around? And what can you tell us that you're allowed to tell us about Rodgers?
I'll just talk generally about what I've seen throughout training camp. I think when you get in goal-to-go situations, their so-called 7-shot drill, they do pretty much every day during training camp. I thought he and the first-team offense represented themselves very well, both against the Steelers and against the Bucs yesterday. That was confirmed by players on the field yesterday. I think Rodgers and the first-team offense were 3 for 3 from the 2-yard line. I think where maybe some of the struggles took place in training camp was more, middle of the field stuff, maybe some stuff with, the 2-minute drill not always working out. There were some occasions at training camp, Joe, where they would swiftly move the ball down the field in the 2-minute drill, and then there would be a pick at the end or an incomplete pass, and then, they couldn't get it done. So I don't know what the scorecard said for the entirety of training camp, but I think the defense held them out more than, the offense got in on the 2-minute drill. So, certainly some things to be encouraged about, the goal-to-go situations, and then some things to work on if you want to talk about the 2-minute drill and, some of the stuff when you're operating in the middle of the field.
It seems one clear concern that even Mike Tomlin in some ways alluded to by sort of challenging Kaleb Johnson yesterday. I can't find anybody who covers the team that tells me the running game is progressing nicely. What can you say about that?
It's not. The blocking is certainly a part of it. And Isaac Seumalo hasn't been around much during training camp. I think he's going to be fine for the regular season, but they've been very careful with him. So that's part of it. But you heard Mike Tomlin and Andy Weidel talk yesterday just about how Kaleb has to trust himself. And I think that happens sometimes with rookies. Maybe you're nervous in your first game or you're nervous in your first training camp and, you're trying to do everything right, but sometimes you're just swimming in all the information. And I think Kaleb is going through that right now. So, not a great first performance against the Jaguars. And, he was challenged by his head coach yesterday, and let's see how he responds on Saturday night.
What's your opinion of Jaylen Warren as, a so-called bell cow type of back?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a bell cow, but I think he's firmly entrenched as RB1. He does everything. He can run the ball. He's their best receiver out of the backfield among the running backs. And he's their best pass protector. And Kenneth Gainwell is right behind him as a receiver out of the backfield. I mean, Gainwell and Warren are right there 1-2. Gainwell has made plays all over the place. So I think they're going to use all these guys. I think early in the season you'll see Jaylen maybe not even come off the field. And then you'll see some Gainwell sprinkled in. Then I think you'll see some Kaleb Johnson sprinkled in, on first downs. Yeah, probably not on passing situations, but I think you'll see him in there when they want to run the ball a little bit. So they're all going to have different roles, but just the way that Kaleb has struggled in pass pro and as a receiver out of the backfield tells me they're not going to trust him too much to put him in there in passing situations.